The 13th of June, Saturday morning, 2026. A brief reading from the Common Buddhist Text, Guidance and Insight from the Buddha. Chief editor of this compilation is Dr. Maha Dhamma Kosachan. We are currently in chapter 9 on wisdom from the perspective of the Theravada tradition. We left off on suffering and the Four Noble Truths of the Noble Ones. The truths of the Noble Ones and how they should be responded to. This passage is an extract, which is the heart of the Buddha's first discourse. It delineates the central focus of the Buddha's teachings, which he has taught only once he was assured that his hearers were mentally prepared for the benefit from hearing them. He often did this by first giving a step-by-step discourse instruction to get his audience into a calm and open state of mind. The key concept here is dukkha, often translated simply as suffering, stress, or agitation, or unsatisfactoriness. More accurately, it means, as a noun, life, various kinds of pain, whether these are physical or mental. As an adjective, it means painful. As a noun again, it means the painful. All those things that entail mental or physical pain. In the passage below, it is used in the second and the third of these senses, except once when referring to the physical pain. What are usually translated as Ariya Satya, noble truths, are really realities to see and to understand. The most significant dimensions of existence, rather than words, which are truths, satya, and the first two, the painful and the cause, are definitely not noble. Rather, all four are what the noble ones, Dakinnaya Pugala, have insight into. These noble ones are the Buddha and those of his disciples, the Arihants, Arihanta, who are enlightened, who are partially enlightened, or who are on the brink of their first breaking through to this enlightenment. It is a spiritual insight that makes them Dakinnaya Bugala, noble ones. Rather than being noble by birth, they are spiritually ennobled. The first thing to do is to become a noble one is to properly identify and to understand the Four Noble Truths in the sense of the true realities. While most people would agree, for example, that unhappiness and distress are painful, they would not see being born and the mental and physical process making up a person as aspects as the painful. To do so requires discerning wisdom, panya. This passage emphasizes that the painful needs to be understood, that which originates in craving needs to be abandoned, that which is the cessation, the end of craving, needs to be experienced, and the path to this needs to be developed. Now this, monks, is the truth of the noble ones. That is painful. Birth is dukkha. Aging is dukkha. Illness is dukkha. Death is dukkha. Sorrow, lamentation, physical or mental unhappiness and distress are all dukkha. Union with the dislike is dukkha. Separation from what is liked is dukkha. not getting what one wants is dukkha. In brief, the 5 grasped at categories of existence are all dukkha. Now this, monks, the truth of the noble ones. That is the origin of dukkha. It is the craving which leads to the repeated existence, accompanied by delight and attachment, seeking delight here and now, there, that is, craving for sensual pleasures, craving for being something, craving for something's non-existence. Now this, monks, this is the truth of the noble ones. That is the cessation of dukkha. It is the remainderless fading away and the cessation of that same craving, same wanting, same desire, the giving up and relinquishing of it, freedom from it, non-reliance on it. Now this, monks, is the truth of the noble ones. This is the way leading to the cessation of dukkha. It is this noble eightfold path, that is to say, right view, right resolve, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. This is the truth of the noble ones. That is dukkha. In me, monks, in regard to the things unheard before, there arose vision, knowledge, wisdom, insight, and light, discernment. Now this is the truth of the noble ones. That is the painful, dukkha. It is to be fully understood in me, monks, in regard to the things unheard before, there arose vision, knowledge, wisdom, insight, and light, discernment. Now on this, the truth of the noble ones that is painful has been fully understood in me, monks. In regard to the things unheard before, there arose vision, knowledge, wisdom, insight, and light, discernment. Likewise in me, monks, in regard to the things unheard before, there arose in me knowledge, wisdom, insight, and light with respect to this. This is the truth of the noble ones. This is the origin of dukkha. This is the truth of the noble ones. This is the origin of dukkha is to be abandoned. And this truth of the noble ones, that is the origin of dukkha, has been abandoned. Likewise, in me, monks, in regard to the things unheard before, there arose vision, knowledge, wisdom, insight, and light, discernment, with respect to the truth of the noble ones. That is the cessation of dukkha. That is the truth of the cessation of dukkha. It is to be personally experienced. This is the truth of the noble ones, is the cessation of dukkha, has been personally experienced. Likewise, in me, monks, in regards to the things unheard before, there arose vision, knowledge, wisdom, insight, and light, discernment, which respects to this is the truth of the noble ones. This is the way leading to the cessation of the painful. This, the truth of the noble ones, that is the way leading to the cessation of the painful, is to be developed. This is the truth of the noble ones, is the way leading to the cessation of the painful, has been developed. Explanation of the painful aspects of existence. This explains and expands on each of the aspects of life that are described above as painful. Note that the illustration of pain, of not getting what one wants, is the spiritual frustration of not being free from all other painful aspects of life. In effect, the painful aspect of life are all those unsatisfactory things that bring distress, unease, dissatisfaction, anxiety, frustration, or stress. As what is birth, or whatever beings, or whatever category of beings there is birth, taking birth, descent, conception, coming to be, appearance of the 5 categories of existence, and acquisition of the sense bases, that monks, it is called birth. And what is pain? Whatever is bodily pain, bodily discomfort, painful, uncomfortable feeling born of a stimulus to the body that is called pain. What is unhappiness? Whatever is mental pain, mental discomfort, mental uncomfortable feeling born of a stimulus to the mind, that is called unhappiness. What is distress? What for one touched by whatever painful state when some misfortune is met with is being troubled, distress. The state of being troubled, the state of being distressed, that is called distress. And what is the pain of union with what is disliked? Whenever one meets with undesirable, unpleasing, unattractive sights, sounds, smells, favors, or tactile sensations, or has connection, contact, relationship, interaction with those who wish one ill, who wish for one's harm, who wish for one's discomfort, who wish for one's no security from the yoke. This is called pain from union with what is disliked. What is pain of separation from what is liked? Whenever one meets with desirable, pleasing, attractive sights, sounds, smells, favors, or tactile sensations, or one has connection, contact, relationship, interaction with those who wish one well, who wish for one's benefit, who wish for one's comfort, and who wish for one's security from the yoke, or with one's mother, father, brother, sister, friend, companions, or relatives, then it is deprived of that. That is called the pain of separation from what is like. What is the pain of not getting what one wants? In beings subject to birth, the wishes arise. Oh, may we not be subject to birth, and may we not come to us. But this is not to be gained by wishing. This is the pain of not getting what one wants. In being subject to aging, illness, and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, unhappiness, and distress, the wishes arise. Oh, may we not be subject to each of these, and may none of them come to us. But this is not to be achieved by wishing. That is the pain of not getting what one wants. And how, in short, are the five grasped at categories of existence painful? These are material form as grasped at category, feeling as grasped at category, perception as grasped at category, volitional activities, intentions formed as grasped at categories, and the consciousness form as grasped at categories. These, in short, are the five grasped at categories, or craving, desire, wanting, longing for, of existence that are painful. That is, for the noble ones, it is called the truth that is painful. This is cited from the Mahasatipatthana Sutra, Dika Nikaya, Volume 2, page 305 to 307. The five categories of existence, the aggregates or the skandhas. These two passages explain the nature of the five components of a person of each of the categories of existence. One of the fundamental types of the process making up lived existence, as they are each grasped at to feed the idea of I am, this is me, this is I, this is myself. They are known as the grasped at categories of existence. Upatthana skandha. Material form is the body. Feeling is not meant in the sense of emotion, but is simply the hedonic tone of any existence. Perception is what recognizes, labels, classifies, or interprets sense objects or aspects of them, such as color, generally doing this quite automatically. Cetana, or volitional construction activities of intentions, are the plurality of processes of which the main one is volition. They have a shaping effect on all categories of existence, which is probably because volition is the heart of karma. And so to bring karmic effects, consciousness is the basis awareness of any object and discerning of its basic aspects, such as differentiating between tastes, describing all 5 categories of existence as dukkha, painful, in the sense of potentiality involving or entailing mental or physical suffering through only some forms of feeling or actual forms of pain and suffering. The second passage here sees that the 4 mental ones as each 6 types of differentiated by which sense channel they operate in, with the mental faculty and mental objects of thought, memories, ideas, etc. counted as one. As why, monks, does one call material form, it is deformed, monks, bhikkhu. Therefore, it is called form, rupa, deformed by cold, by heat, hunger, thirst, contact with flies, mosquitoes, wind, sun, and snakes. And why, monks, does one call it feeling? It feels, monks, therefore it is called feeling. It feels pleasure, it feels pain, it feels neither pleasure nor pain. And why, monks, does one call it perception? It perceives, monks, therefore it's called perception. It perceives blue, it perceives yellow, it perceives red, it perceives white. And why, monks, does one call it volitional or construction activities? They construct the condition. Therefore, they are called volitional or construction activity. Material form is constructed phenomenon, which they are constructed to the state of material form. Feeling is constructed phenomenon, that they are constructed into the state of feeling. Perception is a constructed phenomenon, that they are constructed into the state of perception. Volitional activities are constructed phenomenon. They are constructed into the state of volitional activities. Consciousness is constructed phenomenon, that they are constructed into what is meant by consciousness. And why, monks, bhikkhu, does one call it consciousness? It discerns, monks, therefore it is called consciousness. It discerns sour, it discerns bitter, it discerns pungent, it discerns sweet, it discerns sharp, it discerns mild, it discerns salty, it discerns bland. This is cited from the Kachanti Sutra, Samyutta Nikaya, Volume 3, page 86 to 87. And what, monks, is material form? The 4 elements, earth, solidity, water, cohesion, fire, heat, wind, motion, and with the form derived from these. And what, monks, is feelings? There are 6 classes of eating, or feeling. Feeling born of sensory contact with the ear, the eye, the nose, the tongue, the body, or the mental faculty. And what, monks, is perception? There are 6 classes of perception. Perceptions of visual forms, or of sounds, smells, tastes, tactile objects, and mental objects. And what, monks, are volitional activities? There are 6 classes of volitions regarding to visual forms, or of sounds, smells, tastes, tactile objects, or mind, objects. And what, monks, is consciousness? There are 6 classes of consciousness. Eye consciousness, awareness. Ear consciousness, awareness. Nose consciousness, awareness. Tongue consciousness, awareness. Body consciousness, awareness. Mindness consciousness, awareness. This is cited from the Upattam Parivantam Sutra, Samyutta Nikaya, Volume 3, page 59, 61. There are 3 kinds of suffering. This passage clarifies the natures of dukkha, suffering, mental or physical pain, that which is painful. The painful of life is seen most directly in actual physical or mental pains. There is also painfulness in something being limited, ephemeral, conditioned state, imperfect, and implicit contrast to the unconditioned, nirvana, nibbita, nibbana. There is also painfulness in something being pleasant while it lasts, but brings the pain of loss when it ends. Sitting on one side of Gautama, the Buddha, the wandering ascetic Jambukadaka said to Venerable Friend, it is suffering, suffering. What is now suffering? Dukkha. There are, friend, three kinds of painfulness. Dukkhata, the painfulness of pain, the painfulness of conditioned things, and the painfulness of change. This is cited from the Dukkha Sutra, Samyutta Nikaya, Volume 4, 259. Identifying and understanding the Four Noble Truths of the Noble Ones. Meditative concentration helps the mind to develop the discerning wisdom, panya, that can be properly identified and understand each of the Four Noble Truths. A monk who has meditative concentration understands things as they really are. What does he understand as they really are? He understands as it really is, this is painful. He understands as it really is, this is the origin of the painful. He understands as it really is, this is the cessation of painful. He understands as it really is, this is the way leading to the cessation of the painful. This is cited from the Sammati Sutra, Samyutta Nikaya, Volume 5, 414. No pessimistic denial of life pleasures, but attachment to them is dangerous. These passages makes it clear that Buddhism does not pessimistically deny the pleasant side of life, but it counsels that of all such pleasant, beguiling attractions are impermanent and not to be clung to. Ignoring painful aspects of life leads to limited attachment, while calmly acknowledging the painful aspects has a purifying, liberating effect. The pleasures and gladness that arise independent on material form, this is its satisfaction. That is impermanent, painful, subject to change. That is its danger. The removal and abandonment of desire and attachment for it, this is the escape from it. The same is said on the all other four aspects of a person: feeling, perception, volitional activities, and consciousness. This is cited from the Asata Sutra, Samyutta Nikaya, Volume 3, 27 through 28. If there were to be no satisfaction in the world, living beings would not be attracted or attached to the world. Monks, bhikkhu, it is because there is satisfaction in the world that living beings are attached to the world. If there were to be no danger in the world, living beings would not be disenchanted with the world. It is because there is danger in the world that living beings are disenchanted with the world. If there were no escape from the world, living beings would not escape from the world. It is because there is an escape from the world that living beings escape from the world. As long as living beings of the world do not understand truly with their higher knowledge the satisfaction in the world as satisfaction, the danger of the world as danger, the escape from the world as escape, so long living beings of the world, inclusives of gods, maras, brahmas, renunciants, brahmins, inclusives of deities and humans, do not live unyoked, unfettered, and freed. With the mind that is unrestricted, whenever a monk, bhikkhu, living beings of the world understand truly with the higher knowledge the satisfaction in the world as satisfaction, the danger, the escape of the world, they live unyoked, unfettered, and freed, with the mind that is unrestricted. This is cited from the Asata Sutra, Anguttara Nikaya, Volume 1, 260. The path that brings joy, piti. Buddhism may talk about pain and suffering, but it should not be thought as sour or dour or pessimistic. For example, piti, joy is experienced in the first two, concentration, absorption, and is one of the 7 factors of awakening, sambodhana. And enlightened disciples express non-attached joy at the beauties of the wild nature as seen in these verses. Sariputra, forests are delightful, where most folk find no delight. Those without attachment will delight there. They are not seekers after sensual pleasures. Mahakassapa, with clear water and great boulders frequented by monkeys and deer, covered with moisture and moss, those rocks delight me. This is cited from the Terracotta 992 and 1070. We will leave off there today on this short reading from chapter 9 on wisdom from the perspective of the Theravada tradition. We will pick up on dependent arising and how suffering originates. A brief reading from the Common Buddhist Text, Guidance and Insight from the Buddha. Chief editor of this compilation is Dr. Mahadhamma Kosachan.